Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
And today we will be creating a claim. We will be acting as a CSR customer service representative. We are getting the claim information from the customer claimant. And we are creating a new claim in the claim center. I'll be clicking on the new claim and it will ask me some mandatory data to process a claim. When I'm clicking on this Find Policy Right, I'll be giving the policy number here and clicking on the search button. What it does is it searches the policy in the policy center. It will be internally integrated with the policy center and it will search the policy from the policy center and it will fetch the details from the policy center and it will be displayed here. But now, because we are doing it in our local right, we don't have policy center claim center integration enabled right now. What we can do is we can create a dummy policy also just for a demo purpose. We can create using a create and verify policy. This is just for the demo purpose. I'm just creating a dummy policy, some random name. 12. I'll create which policy, personal policy, I'll create. I have to define the loss of date. Today is the loss date. Effective date of the policy should be before the loss date. Then only the claim would appear. Right means the claim is valid. And once we create a claim here, will that reflect the policy? Because we are not getting the policy number from the policy center. Say the integration is there and we create a claim. Will that be? Will that insert a new policy? No, right? No, it won't. Then why did they give this functionality of creating a claim for unverified policy? This is just for our local purpose, means local testing. In production, you don't use this. No, but production, there is always an option. Production, they will disable this option. Create unverified policy. It's a 1-year policy. I'll make it as 0. Now, the loss date is something which lies between the effective date and the expiration date. I'll give the name. Name of the insured. I'll create a new person and I'll create the account with your name or some random name. These are the set of screens which I need to fill in to create a claim. One is the first, one is a find a policy. This is kind of fell. No, this is not NL. Whatever. These screens are fill. Find policy basic info loss details. You can see these screens are connected. Right after this, we will land up in this page. After this, we fill in the information of this. We are landing into this page. This is FEN only. first name, I'll give some random. Last name also random. It is not asking for any such data. Only the I can have. I am. Ideally, I should provide all the data because all these data are there in the policy center. When the policy is first from the policy center, all these data is automatically populated from the policy center. That's why I have a PC to CC integration. And to enable the policy center to claim center data write, data transfer and integration. There are some plugins which we need to enable. Just we need to enable the plugins and integration would be taken place. The plugin name is Summary. What happened? Control Shift N. Policy summary. And policy system. Policy system notification plugin. This plugin will. I may need to enable this plugin. And when we enable this plugin, we have to enable the similar plugin in the policy center also, and integration would be enabled. But to run this integration, right in the local, I need to start both the servers in my local. But because of the RAM size and the memory space constraints, it won't be able to start both the servers in the local. When you say enable, I'll show you just a checkmark disabled enabled. I just need to enable it. And then policy center, you'll have a notification and yes, we have a claim center system plugin in policy. If policy center is running, I mean when you're saying just enable in the background, they might be defining some port numbers and several. Yes. When you enable this right, claim center is also integrated with billing system as well. Let me go to the plug-in section. I'll show you all the plugins here. We'll be covering the plugins in the integration class. For policy, my bad for policy search. This is the plugin iPolicy search adapter for other. For other fields means if you are not searching for the policy, we are searching for some other information from the poll center. These are the other plugins iPolicy system notification, iPolicy refresh plugin. But specifically for searching the policy, querying the policy number and then searching, then this is the iPolicy search adapter. You have defined this. See, this is disabled. You have to find the GoTo class here corresponding to this plugin, right? You will open the GoTo class and this GoTo class is a client. It's a web service client which is fed, which is calling the web service which is published by the policy center. All the URLs are everywhere, right? All the things are mentioned in the suite config.xml file. For internal integrations, For internal integrations, you can see there is A. You mention the name as PC and you have defined the URL here of the policy center. For A, B is the contact manager. For contact manager, you have different issue. These are the URLs which it will be hitting for integration to happen. But this is only for the internal integrations. These URLs will be picked up and this when this particular plugins will be called. Right. This plugin, inside this plugin, there would be logic wherein it will pick up the call, the methods which are published by the policy center using these URLs. You can see there is a retrieve policy from policy summary. These are the out-of-the-box functionality. We are just taking in the parameter policy number lost it. What it is. See, there is a service named policy search service. And you are calling the retrieve policy method. You can see this is the outthis. Now it went to the generated class. After this method, if you will go inside this method, right, we will not be able to see the definition of this method. But I'll tell you what is happening inside this method. It is triggering that URL which we have defined in the suit conflict XML file and retrieving the policy details. That's how it happens. Through the plugin, whenever we are searching for the policy through the plugin, it is going to the policy center through this retrieve policy method. You can see it tried to connect, but you are getting this exception. Unable to connect because try to connect to contact manager. But you are getting this exception and able to connect to this contact manager. Write connection refused because contact manager is not up. Why it is trying to connect to the contact manager? I'll check whether I have this contact manager plugin enabled or not. I have this plugin. I contact such contact system plugin. This is a plugin. Not this one. What is the file name? It's enabled. Yes, it's enabled. Disabled is false. That's why it's trying to when I'm creating a contact. I'm created this contact here, right? As soon as I internal functionalities, as soon as I'll create the contact internally, it will because I have enabled integration. Whatever contact related changes I'm doing here, it should go to the contact manager, right? Internally, it is when I'm adding a contact internally. It is trying to update the contact manager also, but it is not able to do. These are the things which we have done. Now let's add some coverages also. In this policy, we will add death and disability benefit. We'll add the limit amount. $2,000. Incidentally meters also. Whatever limit we have defined it right, it will be mapped to these exposure and incident limits automatically when we will be fetching the policy. Let's leave it. We'll add a new vehicle, some vehicle. We will add it here. And I with the random generator. Make to 18 more. In make, I need to get complete name right. And more line. Here we will be given the model, and the model can be a parola or whatever it is. I need to get 2080. When I have to give here, actually at the above I have to give a equal number means 1. If I will be adding second vehicle, I have to give to here. Then the coverage is, I added the vehicle on the next button. It will create this policy. Even Claim Center will have policy related entities. Only few because it is retrieving the policies right. Policy. It will not have that much extensive all the entities, but it will have only few entities related to it. It will have policy entity, policy period entity. All those entities will have few basic entities. Let me check for policy.t. You can see there is one entity in policy.t which will store the policy data coming in from. But it does not necessarily have all the fields mentioned here. All the foreign relationships which are there in the policy center. Out of the box, you get that everything which I'm showing you here, everything is out of the box. We just need to customize this. Guidewire provide an application readily available. If I want to have my own insurance company, right, I can use this application without doing any customization. But it's like if I need some more requirement, some new line of business is to be added and I have some custom requirements, right? I need to write my own logic, write my own rules in the rule sets. That's why this is something which we are not doing it from the scratch. Now we are in the last detail screen. I'll put car crash. Let me go back. I need involved vehicle. I will check mark this vehicle. Toyota Corolla which I created. These are the wizard screens. Lost causes collision with a fixed object. What do you have to give? Vehicle is already added here. Witnesses. If there is any witness or not, we can add the witnesses here and witnesses will be added as a contact. Officials. Is there any official involved on this? Is there any police report on this? All these things will be stored in some entities. There would be some entities which will be having one too many because you can see this in a tabular format, right? It can have multiple rows. These entities which are storing the information, right? It will have one too many relationship with the claim, right? What is the weather? It was rainy. All the smallest things we can put in the claim location. Some new location. I'll put Helsinki. No, I need to put some US state only. Carol Stream. This is a location. I'll go to the next. The services will be requested when the visit is complete. Is there any service required for this means? Is there any doing service? Is there any auto repair service which I want to have? If I need that service, I can select that. I will leave those. Is there any claim level service means? Is there any special premium service I need for this? For my claim like cashless claim or something, right? All those services data also, I can add it here. My lot had anything. Click on the next button. This is my last screen of the FNNOL save and assign claim when I have two options here for the assignment. Assign claim and exposure. Once my claim is created, there are two things. I have to create exposures right top of that game for each coverage just to track the payments. Right. One way is whenever a claim is created, automatically the exposure will also get created. By the code, we have exposure rules, and by using the exposure rules automatically, it can be created. But if the user and the adjuster or a customer service entity or anyone wants to create anyone from the insurance, want to be in the insurance company, want to create it manually, they can do it from the screens also. We'll check the manual process here. And then from the code side, we'll see how the automatic rules are created for the exposures. Now, when the exposure claim is created, right, it has to be assigned to an adjuster who would be doing further investigation of this claim, right? Who would be the primary assignee of that claim? We can do it in two ways. Either we can manually assign to anyone, or it can be automatically assigned. How it will be automatically assigned? If we'll use automatic assignment, right? My assignment rules activity assignment 2. Assignment rules will be triggered. These I have assignment rules here, right? Based on these assignment rules, my claims will be based on the load, based on a round robin, or based on the load factor of a particular user. The claims are automatically assigned. Suppose we have global C claim assignment rules. I'll open the claim assignment rule for auto policy. Now I want to check my assignment rules. How? The panel I'll be selecting. I'm having personal auto. When I'm selecting this assign claim and exposure, you can see it will come to this. Your cursor will come to this and it will run this logic. And here they see. Here it is fetching the group name. And from the group, it is assigning it to someone. That's how the assignment rules takes place. You can read it, use the function getGroup or getGroup type based on claim segment. To find that, I'll tell you what is the claim segment to find the top two group type choices. Assign type as this claim. Then try assignment options in this order until you succeed. Primary group type near claim loss location. Secondary group type near claims loss, group type near claims loss location. Primary group type near claim loss location. Secondary group type near insured loss location. What it is defining, it here is first it is checking. Is there any group inside which is near to the claims loss location? Which is near to the claims loss location. Suppose I've kept the claim loss location and alien. Alright. It will check. Is there any location which is nearer to that place? Is there any way, do we have any group of insurance professionals there which are working with us? If it is, then it will be assigned to someone from that. If not, then it will go to the second secondary near to insured primary address. It will check for the insured. That's how the automatic assignments takes place. And you can see here we have a written condition that loss type should be auto. Then only this assignment will be triggered. That's why we have different rules for different line of businesses. If I want to use manual assignment, I can manually assign to super user or any user I need to. I can search any user which is there in my application and I can. Now, when I click on the finish, it will save the data which I have already created. I should keep sorry. See, I have kept the debug points here. Just to show you. In the work plan rules. My cursor got stuck and in the debugger I could see the frames and the variable names which have been used. I will check for the claim pre-update rule also because claim entity is getting created. Right? I put the debug point for any of the claim, any of the rule in the claim. I'll put the debug point here. You can see it came here. The cursor came here. It means one by one, in this sequence, all the rules are triggering. Right? Which are related to the claims and which are related to the entities which we have of just right. All these rules are triggering. That's why we use rules very extensively. Especially in the claim center. If we want to create an automatic exposure site, there are exposure related rules also. Assignment rules, initial reserves. Automatic exposure rules are not present here. We have to define it manually. Yes, we have preset exposure rules here, but it is empty. We have not defined any rules for the exposures. We are not creating any automatic exposure. It means you can see in the debugger window. In this window, you are able to see the objects and the data related to the objects. If you will be using, this is step over. This is step into. When you click on step into, it will take you to the next line of the code. Inside this method, it will take you to the next line of the code. It's going into the Java class. Yes, it is going into the Java compiled classes. That's why there is no use of going into those classes. We'll not be able to see that light. We will be doing step over. Step over will not go into this Java classes. It came outside now. I'll do step over. Step over means suppose this is the life in my debugger is stuck here in this line of code. I'm doing step over, right? It will come to the next line of the port in the same file. But if I'll do step into, it will go inside this block. It will go inside this method. That's the difference between the step over and step into. I'll just mute my debug points and I'll resume the program that my claims are. They need to remember all those things, right? Like which tick mark you have to enable. Sorry, which one? Say, can they ask something like in the PCFF file if you want to add button, which one would you select? And all those things. No, they will not ask. They'll just ask you about the process. What is up? What would be the process? They will not go into the specifics that which property on the widget you will be selecting. They'll not interview. We will not be that much specific because there are hundreds of type of widgets available here. You just need to know only few widgets. That is toolbar, edit buttons, normal button. These few widgets, you need to know that for sure. Input widget is the right input widget. Date field, date input column. All these, you need to know whatever we have seen in the lab session. That apart from that, they will not ask specifically for each and every widget from the PCF. They'll ask generic questions to you. Suppose from claims and perspective, they can ask that. They can say that how the assignments are done. If I want to have an assignment rule where I need to. Means how the claims are assigned to a person. You will be saying that I will be using. If I have this requirement, I'll be using the assignment rules and I'll be having multiple rules in that. First of all, I'll make a condition on the line of business and then in the action, I'll go out and create a search for the user which I need to assign. And I'll be assigning the claim to that in the assignment rules and they can ask you about all these rule sets, what all these rules do. Suppose there is a rule named segmentation. What is the segmentation rule used for? I'll tell you that segmentation rules is only used if you want to segment a claim. Suppose a claim is coming to the picture. You want to segment it on a mean. Suppose there is a less complex claim, there is a normal claim, and there is a claim of higher complexity. This segmentation rules will contain the rules which will segregate the claims between. These will classify the claims. Because less severe claims will be handled separately. Normal claims will be handled separately and most severe claims are handled separately and there can be some fast track claims also, right? That can be. If you want to segment the claims, we want to segregate between the claims, right? We can segregate it using segmentation rules. Suppose we can segregate the exposures also. There can be some exposures which are very much on priority, which we need to complete as soon as possible. There can be some exposures which can take time, which are not much priority, which has less severity to complete. That's why there are segmentation rules from the exposure level and there are segmentation rule on the claims level as well to separate out the claims and segment. Oh, exposure. Suppose we have claim segmentation rule for claims and segmentation rules. Also, we have defined different segmentation rules for different line of businesses. Suppose for personal auto. This is the. Here we have written some rules. What is my rule here is I'm iterating through all the exposures which are there in the claim. If I'm using first where here, what my first year will do? It returns. If the condition which I'm providing inside the first year, this is true, it will return the first result of that condition, right? If any of the exposure in this area is having a segment as high, then it will mark claim as a high. It will mean it will mark this in a higher level, right? You can see here it is checking. Suppose there are 3 exposures. One exposure is of high priority and 2 exposures are low priority. This line of code is returning the exposure with the highest priority, because this condition is true for highest. Here in the line number 39, you can see you are in the claim segment. You are assigning the segment of the highest exposure. This segment is TC underscore high auto high right. This will be allotted to the claim. It means if one of my exposures is high priority, then I will segment my claim as also high priority. If any of my exposure is, it is checking. If this is no right, it will check for the mid priority exposures. And if this is also none, then it will check for the low priority. That's how the segmentation rules work. Even fired rules are used for integration purposes. If you want to integrate to application external system with the guide system, then even fired rules are created to generate the payload to be sent to the third-party system. We have different third-party system mentioned here. InsurTech. These are the name of third-party systems. These rules are written just to generate the payload which need to be sent to the third-party system. But as we are skipping the integration part, as of now you can leave it. But you just need to know that these rules are used for integration. Pre-setup rules we already mentioned, right? Whenever a new entity is created, deleted or updated, these preset-up rules will be done. And we need to. If you want to create a new preset for a new entity, you will need to define the root object as an entity and you can define the rules. Right. These are the major rules. There are multiple. And if you want to into the details of each and every rule, right, you can. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.